Hello Val Verde, welcome back to Val Verde Broadcasting. Should I start that again? Yes, probably, since I said, should I start
I'll go with it, we're going with it.
We're going with it. Okay,
it makes
right.
you human.
It does, yes.
It
As do
human.
all my foibles.
Human after all.
I'm not going to sit with my legs crossed because that's weird. Yes, hello, welcome back. We thought we would do a little, it's kind of an update video by way of a little discussion about things that Richard and I have been up to recently. As you know, our main career is not on YouTube, which you would never know, but you do know that, because how could anyone make money on YouTube legally? No, don't do that. So we obviously, I'm an actor. You know, Richard is a videographer slash cinematographer slash editor slash many things.
Sound recordist.
Botanist.
Botanist. Lepidopterist.
Fun to say.
So I say that twice in a day.
Yes.
Lepidopterist. Every third one.
Slip in the lepidopterist. I do many things. I do copywriting as well, but yeah. And so we've recently had projects that we've been involved with that have taken us away from doing this. You, especially, to La La Land itself, the City of Angels,
the America.
They're America. We thought we would just bring you some exclusive info on that.
I think we've been telling I discussed it a lot on Patreon. What I was doing.
Yeah, I did a live stream on Patreon as well.
Yeah. So this is for Gem Pop.
Yeah.
Patreon get it first.
Indeed. So tell us about so you've been working on Icon, the Robert Englund story.
I've been working on Icon, the Robert Englund story as cinematographer. So
that's for DPing Robert Englund
in LA, which is where most of DPing happens
yes.
as well. I did not DP a 70-year-old actor. I was in no way. Unfortunately for me, I haven't been involved in any DPing for quite some time. We are I'm working with working for Dead Mouse Films. So that's Adam, Gary, and Chris, who I work directly with, and John Campopiano and Mikey Perez. So we went out to LA for 3 weeks, which made all this grind to a halt because I found out 10 days before the shoot began, because I think I was in as a replacement. So they said, do you want to come and work on this? And I said, yeah. So I just had to drop everything, go. And we spoke to 41 people. Wow. Including Robert himself, which was a 2-hour interview. And then he took us out for lunch. Oh. Yes, I was going to tell a story about lunch, but I'm a bit embarrassed by it, so I won't.
Did you fart in front of me?
The meal tasted really like fish, and I'm violently averse to fish. It makes me really ill, and I nearly bogged it in front of Robert Englund, but I just held a hand up to my mouth like a polite lady and went. When actually inside, I was going.
What was it that tasted like fish?
Well, it's a really fishy restaurant, and it was supposed to be like a Thai chicken rice thing. Yeah. I took a mouthful that tasted like fish, and I just sat there going.
I probably had oyster sauce.
And then I was like, probably, and it's like this really nice man has bought me a meal in quite a posh restaurant, and I think I'm about to vomit everywhere. So I had to go. Here's what I did. We're in it now. We're in it.
Right,
this is my most interesting story from the shoot. Yeah. So I took a mouth. He was the first one we shot with as well. We met Robert first. Yeah. I took a mouthful of this food and I immediately tasted fish. And if you don't know, fish in all forms makes me vomit. I'm not allergic or anything, but I got some kind of crazy pathological shit. And I started kind of dry heaving. But bless him, he was talking because he's a talker and he's telling all these nice stories. And I was so I brought up my dainty hanky and I was going up. So
it's coming back.
It's coming back. I swallowed down that. I swallowed down that lump. This is terrible. And then I was like, right, I've got to tackle the salad. So I ate everything on the plate apart from the fishy chicken bowl. And then there was some sweet chili sauce and some other sauce on the table. So I just poured that in. I had 3 mouthfuls and I put the lettuce on top and pretended I was finished.
Oh, bless him.
And that lovely, polite man, bless him. He probably wouldn't have noticed. The man is a talker. He's lovely. But I nearly vomited in front of Freddy Krueger. So I went to his house, went to his Freddy room, hung out with him and his wife. Lovely guy. Met a bunch of other people. I was using a Blackmagic camera, cinema camera, which isn't mine. I had access to a studio and all the studio lighting and filters and mics and the Blackmagic camera, which I borrowed from Jason Fitzpatrick at the Centre for Computing History, which you should all visit and donate to, etc. It was a good fun time, but it's 3 weeks out in LA, so then I had to come back here, and then I had a contract here for a week. So I didn't see my own bed for a month.
You've been a busy boy.
I'm a busy boy.
Yeah.
And now I'm temping again. I was at the British Antarctic Survey last week on reception. I'll be back there tomorrow. So
that's how it goes, man.
There you go. That's what I've been doing.
That's
nearly sicking on horror icons.
Nearly sicking on horror. Well, and also, I suppose we ought to talk about who else you met. So, what, Tony Todd?
Tony Todd. Talked to Tony Todd about Star Trek.
Very cool.
It was really exciting.
I'd have spoken to him about The Rock.
Oh, really?
Or Candyman. I do like Candyman.
Well, yeah, Candyman was the main thing, but like he brought up Star Trek, and The Visitor is like my favourite DS9 episode, and he brought it up, and then when we would turn the camera off, I was literally kind of like, "So Star Trek, right?" And he spoke very enthusiastically about Star Trek, and he follows me on Twitter.
Oh,
Tony Todd follows me on Twitter.
Good old.
Yeah,
I love Tony Todd.
6'6", man. He is a beast of a man.
Yeah.
He's huge. Met Eli Roth.
Yeah.
Interviewed Eli Roth with Lance Henriksen, who's really nice, really funny guy. Oh man, tons and tons of people. On my Facebook page, I posted a link to everyone we interviewed because it was like 41 people, so there were many.
Eddie Furlong.
Edward Furlong, we spoke to about Night of the Demons. Monica Keena as well. I've actually kind of forgotten more than I remember. But yeah, it was really good. It was a really good fun time. It's supposed to be out in January. We're seeing Robert again in October to pick up some more stuff, and I believe, I don't think the guys will mind if I say that we're seeing Kane Hodder as well. I did a day. I went to Mark Goldblatt's house. Mark Goldblatt directed Dead Heat and The Punisher, but his second unit director on RoboCop, and he has a private cinema in his house. Very legendary, legendary editor. And so I've been to Mark Goldblatt's house, into his private cinema. I filmed an interview there.
Nice.
So I credit on RoboDoc. Also, I ate that Cheetos burger from KFC. It made me feel really sick.
You didn't fare very well with the fare out there.
Not really. It's quite funny actually, because I ate vile food every day because the guys were, all food was paid for. So the guys were always like, we just went to gross places all the time, and I was like, sweet, I'm going to go along with that. I got really fat in the middle of the trip, and then towards the end of the trip, I looked really thin in the face. And I just spoke about that to some friends, and one of my friends went, yeah, because you've been eating garbage and you've probably just only done diarrhea for the last week and a half, so you've probably just lost all that weight back out. So scatological, my discussions of LA. But
you could say you left something of yourself in LA.
I certainly did, yeah. I nearly pooed myself in Palm Springs as well.
Huh?
A story which I told to Edward Furlong, much to his amusement. I'm Hollywood now, baby, yeah.
The thing that John Connor's abiding memory of you is that you nearly shat yourself in
Palm Springs.
In Palm Springs.
I had to find a golf club to poo in, not the implement.
Not the sporting
like a hollow.
Yeah. Literally through the eye of a needle. Like, pretty much, I mean.
Luckily, someone suspecting golf club left their bathroom open, and I went and pooed in there. So I had loads of blue drinks, and it came out green. I'm never going to work again. So Duncan's got a video game out.
I've got a video game out called Eric.
Clunk. You got a video game out.
I do. I have a game called Erica. It's on the PlayStation 4 network at the moment. And shot it last year actually, but this year's been about a lot of releases rather than releasing things. Speaking of nearly shitting yourself in Palm Springs, my releases have been somewhat more cinematic. Yes, so because I had Fistful of Lead at the start of the year, and then Wicked Witches, or The Witches of Dumpling Farm, depending on territories. I think it's Wicked Witches generally. The releasing company has done changed the title. That came out start of August in North America, and has found its way to the UK now, so you can buy that on video on demand. In which I play the lead role, the protagonist of that particular tale, and won an award for it, which is really, really cool. Then that's the little indie horror that could really. That was shot for nothing in and around Cambridge over the course of 2 years.
Been going on for ages.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally just grabbing stuff at weekends and all that kind of thing.
That's the way. That's the Evil Dead, Brain Dead, Peter Jackson, Sam Raimi way to do things.
There's a lot of homage to Evil Dead in there as well. We got a sped up footage of the camera going through the woods.
I've seen a bloody Duncan with an axe.
There's a bloody Duncan with an axe.
Did he go at Fright Fest? No. Oh, did?
Maybe.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah, possibly.
Lewis Taylor's film Sleep Tight was at Fright Fest. We promoted him a while ago, and I keep meaning to get him on. We haven't forgotten you, Lewis.
Yeah.
Anyway, are you also in a Tool Station advert?
Also in a Tool Station advert that's run. I don't know if the TV ad's still on, but you can find it on YouTube. But the radio ad is still going. They keep getting me to do more of that. So
I've both seen and heard you.
Very good.
You came on in the pub. I was in the pub with my friend Simon in Birmingham, and he just goes, "Duncan's over there," and I turn around and he meant the telly. You're on the telly, doing the tool station. It was very confusing. Yeah, it was a very confusing time. Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!
Yes, and then of course Erica, which is probably the biggest thing, I guess, in terms of that was 3 months out of my life last summer. In the middle of which I got married, so it'll always hold a fairly special place in my heart for that. But I guess the closest frame of reference would be something like Bandersnatch, which Jason worked on.
Yeah. Well, it's a FMV. It's a revival of the FMV type game, except now you don't have to try and fit your video onto a CD. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's going to actually look really nice because it's like a kind of 40 gig thing total, right?
It's very, very cinematic. That was shot on the Lexus, I think.
Very nice.
By a very, very good Japanese called Arthur Mulcahy. I can only pronounce his surname, but anyway, you'll know him using the credit. He's wonderful. I mean, like proper, up there. Does a lot of TV, does a lot of film. Very directed live action stuff was directed by Jamie Stone, who again is a very prolific director. Done lots of UK TV, Doctor Who, and the like. Lovely guy, grandson of Magnus Magnusson.
Is that right?
Yes. So that was cool, and just wonderful cast. Really, really had great time making that. It was really nice to be making something that was, obviously you have the shorthand for making movies, but it was like we really had to invent a way of filming to capture all the different ways that a scene could go. Challenging as an actor because obviously for most actors what your character wants. You can read the script and you know where he ends up. And so you can, everyone talks about motivation and what your character wants to get out of any scene, and that's what informs how you play it. In this, it was very hard to do that because obviously I could say just one thing, and it could mean that you had to downplay everything because the player could make a choice later on that means you were bad then or good then. So it's kind of like
I thought that about Bandersnatch at the time. You must have to shoot so much stuff to cover and that doesn't account for all the kind of fluffs and fuck ups and usual film set stuff, right? So it's just like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of shit.
On main unit, this is when we hit Slate 1000. I think we were only 2/3 of the way through, something like that. So it's I mean that's a very unusual thing to do.
On Icon, we got up to Slate 43.
No, which is a bit more reasonable. Yeah, exactly. You don't normally hit 1,000 slates, so it's and a lot of it was done on holding the roll and just going back and resetting and starting the scene again and doing it a different way. And it would, bless him, our script supervisor, she would when I got the script, it's 500 pages long, but you couldn't read it cover to cover because it was tables. It wasn't like dialogue or anything.
Oh.
So it was like table of that, and then this answer goes to table whatever, and you've got to flick to page blah to find table thing. Yeah. So it's very hard to read and get a grasp of. And then, but on the day they would get these huge reams of brown paper and just cut out all the dialogue and stick it on like a family tree type dealio, and we'd just stand there with Jamie and go, right, what path are we going to take? That path first, and then when we've got that, we'll go next path. So trying to remember all the different dialogue. I
suppose it comes from that school of, because you have to do that for a lot of regular video games have conversation trees like that, but you don't actually have to film actors recording. You get their audio.
You don't have the pressure of
set and lighting and catering and shit.
Exactly. Yeah. And
I'm not saying that voice actors don't eat. That's not my point.
No,
but it's different when you're crewing a fucking film.
But there's more that can go wrong and you need to cut for effectively. So it's not. Yeah, when you're in a sound booth, you can just reel off a ton of stuff. That doesn't mean it's easy. That's because I've done that as well. It's not easy, but but very happy with how it looks. I think I've seen the trailer. I've not played it, but I think it looks very good. And I think people generally, I don't know because I haven't really been part of the gamer world for a long time, but it does seem those that are into this kind of thing are really digging it because it
seems very. I am still a bit of a gamer and don't have a PlayStation, so I can't play it. I'm not paying for things he made.
Mates rates,
isn't it? Yeah. People seem to respond to it quite well. It's quite nice. I went to the comment section for it, and there's a few people going like, "Hey, Duncan from Val Verde."
Yeah.
It's like, yes.
Yeah.
We are very much like, if like Screen Junkies is a giant multiplex, we're a corner shop that rents pirated videos from a secret room in the back. It's very much our station.
Yes,
on
I
YouTube,
suppose so. Yes,
that's kind of nice.
but it's cool. It's it's got a big push. Game they was it shadow drop? So they shadow dropped it at Gamescom last Monday, and which was when I had to sit on my hands on it for a long time because I couldn't really tell people about it.
He really did. Bless him. It's doing his head in for fucking a year.
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited about it. I was number 2 on the call sheet, so it's something I feel like I had a decent meaty part to play in it. Again, wonderful cast. Holly Earl, who plays Erica, is fantastic.
Was she from like Misfits or something?
I think she was in Skins. I don't know about Misfits. I know she was in
Like
Cuckoo and Humans most prominently. That was season
was she
4.
like the girl in Cuckoo, like the main?
I don't know. I didn't watch Cuckoo. Sorry, Holly.
She ain't watching this, man.
She's, no, probably
No
not.
one watches this.
She's definitely an Erica, and she's brilliant. And Terence Maynard, he's been around a long time. He's Coronation Street, but also Reign of Fire, and he was telling me some stories about that, which were wicked. And Edge of Tomorrow, which I worked on as well, so we were sort of swapping stories. He's the one who wakes Tom Cruise up all the time. He's on your feet, maggot, like that guy. Wonderful actor. Again, had a wonderful time with him. And then Ian Pirrie, who's a really good friend of mine, whose path I seem to intersect with in various ways. I did a short film with him years ago, and then he was in I Am Soldier, which I was in as well. And then there is something else, I'm sure. And then this, so it's kind of like we've just done this, which is really nice. And he's fantastic, very imposing Scottish gentleman. Who's excellent, but I guess he was in The Dark Knight. He's one of the prison guards on the boat, and I believe had a bigger role.
Weirdly, there are so many people in that boat scene in The Dark Knight.
There's
tiny listers in there, but then there's like a guy who did a bunch of British TV ads. There's guys in like the League of Gentlemen. Like there's tons of
prominent people. And then he was in Die Another Day. He's the I think he's credited as Creep, which is a weird name to call it, but he's the South African guy who is there when James Bond is when James Bond is Pierce Brosnan, and he's perving over Halle Berry coming out of the sea. He's the guy who's like, he goes, they could take some girls to room 42 or whatever, and he's like, does she want to be known as Fidel Castrato? And he like goes, threats it.
And he's credited as Creep?
Yeah, he's got a weird, I don't know why it's called, he's called Creep in that, but anyway, I guess they couldn't call him
Creep,
South African
Creep
asshole. But he's basically a patient at the clinic that James Bond punches and steals his ticket and goes, anyway. So he has a nice little cameo in that. So yeah, I got to work with him, and that was probably my moment of most imposter syndrome was when I was in a room with all 3 of them, Holly, Terence and Ian, and I was just like, this is awesome, I'm getting to work with some amazing people, I'm loving this, hang on. And you've probably found this as well, you kind of go, what am I doing here? And
don't let on.
Yeah, don't let on. No. But I always get. It's a failing in me, and I know, and I can kind of philosophically go, no, because you auditioned and got on the role. You can't be bad. But you do get a bit of that. But yeah, wonderful thing, and I hope people are enjoying it. And
They seem to be.
Yeah, I think so.
You've just reminded me something about imposter syndrome. If you ever get imposter syndrome on a set, go straight to the catering and put as much of it in your bag as you can. Because if you get kicked off when they figure you out, you can eat on the bus home.
I always get it at the 50% mark, which is a dumb place to get it. Like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. If I'm doing a day, I'll get it at midday. If I'm doing a 3-month shoot, I'll get it at 1.5 months in. And it's a stupid place to get it because it is the point of no return in that they can't really fire you and recast because you've already shot that much. So really, you've achieved tenure at that point. But I think I know what it is. It's because when you get in the door, everyone's going, hey, and they're finding their feet with you and you're starting friendships. Halfway through, everyone's tired. Everyone's got shorthand for talking to each other. Blah, blah, blah. You're not getting praised for everything you do because why should you? Because you're just doing a job. So it's like but you start to fall off the wagon a bit and you start to go, oh God, and it creeps in. But I think that's, if you're just a human being, you will get that. If you don't get it, you probably...
I just remembered, and I'll plug this as well, the film Blinded by the Light that's just come out about Bruce Springsteen and Luton in the 80s. Mm-hmm. I did a day of prop work on that. So, in the scene where the guys are in the student newspaper office and the screen says blah, 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 article for student newspaper, I wrote that I programmed that in BASIC on a BBC Micro, and I'm sat just off camera, and I come and adjust it in between takes.
What?
And when they're in the headmaster's office, I set up his Amstrad word processor that he's working on, and put all the I addressed all that. And also there's some IBM PCs on there, which I had to set up. I just set those up because they were shooting those the next day. And I found Wolfenstein 3D on there and Duke Nukem 1. So when I was bored having my lunch, which I didn't put in my bag, I was playing Wolfenstein 3D on the set of Blinded by the Light. So that's out now. I will receive no residual money in any way. I was doing it through for Pure Energy, which is Jason Fitzpatrick's company. He hired me for the day.
There you go.
So there you go. Big things happening.
Big things happening. Well, just to sort of, I suppose, wrap up on a note that you touched on earlier, and again then, is that, like, you know, these are great things. We're working on great stuff, and we are jobbing creatives in this industry, but we ain't millionaires, and that's the thing. You went back to the Antarctic survey. I've gone back to other jobs. You know, it can feel quite not humiliating, because you know this is something you have to do. It's not like, you know, I don't want to be so lofty as to say like that sort of work is beneath me, but you're kind of there, and you have to explain to a lot of people, like, yeah, I'm in that. You can buy my DVD over there in the shop. You can do this. You can do that.
Oh man,
but
I got like 4 jobs, dude.
Yeah,
I haven't done deliveries for a while, but I do temping and I do tour guiding and whatever. I was working in a Jaguar Land Rover office, not even the office. I was on reception for most of this year when I had a fucked up leg. Got to do what you got to do. That's
it. But that's, I suppose, that I hope is my takeaway for anyone who's watching this. If you're in, I know, because I do know we've got a lot of creatives who watch our channel, and we're all struggling. Like, I don't want to sit here on camera and kind of go, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm brilliant, because the truth is that we all go back to square one. I think unless you are a celebrity or you know, something, then you don't, you know, it's very hard to make this sort of thing your day job. And I don't even think people at the top of the tree particularly manage to do it all the time, do they? I mean, it's probably only a tiny, tiny handful. So, yeah, that's a very downbeat note. But
that's just where we've been.
Yeah, that's where we've been.
We want to do a stream soon.
Yeah.
We haven't picked a date. I don't want to like lock anyone down to that. We want to do a stream soon. And if we do a stream, we're going to like do a stream, like do a good, spectacular, good stream with proper lighting and proper mics. And
you going to say what we're going to do?
We've talked. Let's not say anything yet.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, vaguely, what we're going to do a live.
We're thinking about doing a live commentary. Right. Was the idea. So something out of copyright, live commentary. I thought it'd be a spectacular evening of fun. So I can use OBS to switch between the webcam to the video footage and kind of keep it sort of seamless. So it could be us. Our last live stream is our last one together, non-gaming, was me and Duncan in Duncan's kitchen, and it was filmed on a phone. Yeah. And it went really well. Loads of people come, and we had a good fun time. But we want to set up another one so it's a bit more spectacular. No Ivan though, sadly, because he's going to be away. But it doesn't mean we get the run of this shithole. So we can use this space as we please. Yeah. You know, so we'll probably just do, make a whole evening of it, have a proper fun time, do a good stream, bit of a party. So look out for that. I'm guessing today is what, the
29th.
29th. I'm not sure I'm going to get this. I want to get this on Patreon as soon as I can. I'd like to get this video out before Monday, which means patrons have to get it 2 days before Monday. That might not happen, so enjoy that, future people. Come tell me from your back of your hoverboard how that went. Shall we?
Let's wrap this one up then. But yeah, thank you. I hope that was in some way edifying for people, and that you know, you get to hear kind of from the horse's mouth where we've been and what we've been up to. And thank you so much, you know, for bearing with us during that time as well, because I know it's been a bit of a fallow period, or fallow 2 weeks. But there was good reason for it. And we're back. There's going to be lots more to come. So thanks for sticking with us. And we'll see you again very soon.
Later, shorties.
Adios.